Hello and welcome to the Hoof GP. Today we're back to look at this cow. She had two huge ulcers hidden underneath loose horn. So we're back to see if she's pain free yet, and if she's not, what we can do about it. This is the Hoof GP. If you haven't already subscribed, think about subscribing by clicking that button down there and help us increase our numbers and reach our goal. Although we don't actually have one. Maybe we should get one. Enjoy the video. So just 4 weeks ago, we visited this cow, who I believed was very lame on this back left foot, but little did I know that she was actually very lame on both of her back feet, but only really showing it on this back left foot. So we set to work trimming it, and we soon uncovered a colossal sole ulcer sticking out the bottom of her foot. We attached 2 blocks to lift it right up off the ground and wrapped it with salicylic acid. Then after doing that foot, we moved on to foot number 2, her back right foot, and found it to be in the very same condition as the first one we trimmed. So again, we removed all of the overburdening horn and uncovered a colossal ulcer sticking out the bottom of her foot once again. So 2 blocks and a wrap later, and this was how she was walking after the first trim. So we're back 4 weeks later to see how this cow's doing now, and try to complete her recovery. So with the farmer wanting to make sure this cow makes a full recovery, he has her back in for us to trim, and we're just about to see the fruits of our labour. So it's 4 weeks later, and we've got this girlie back in to see how those ulcers are. To see how those ulcers are. That's easy for me to say. It looks like the block has come off, but actually, it's literally just fallen off. Probably because she was trying to kick me. As trimmers, we do everything we can to help these cows recover, but without the farmer being right behind this process, there is no way this cow would ever get better. Just making sure that they're looked after properly and the bandage is removed in time is a massive help. What a difference. Look at the difference with this. So this was it last time. And this is it this time. Obviously the block has fallen off. Right, so we're going to get blocks put back on there. It's good we got her in because obviously those blocks were just about to fall off anyway. So we'll get the blocks put back on and get this foot trimmed up and then see how the other ones do.
You take my love for granted. Say a bunch of stuff you never mean, yeah.
So we always try to put a larger block on the base of the foot and then a smaller one underneath so that we can set it slightly back from the toe and she's got a nice rollover or walking position and it doesn't cause any discomfort. So those blocks were actually on for 4 weeks and by then the horn is starting to shed and that's why those blocks were falling off. So it's lucky we've got her in today to replace them. And this time I've asked Craig to glue up the side wall of the hoof horn to make sure it kind of encapsulates the horn and can't fall off. Now let's make sure that ulcer really is healing. Wow, it's hard. This horn is extremely hard, A, because I soaked it in iodine the first time around, and B, because the 2 blocks that were on it elevated it out of the moisture and slurry, allowing the hoof horn to dry out, which is actually the ideal conditions for hoof horn, and also why it is so hard. You're probably thinking I'm making it look worse. And you'd be right. It definitely does look worse. But we are not after a partial recovery. We are after a full recovery. And if we're ever going to achieve that, this is the route we need to go down. Clearly she is an awful lot better than she was last time, but she still has an ulcer. But this is a small problem in comparison with last time. So I have every faith that she'll fully recover. On this foot anyway. Next foot. And this foot looks pretty good too. just going to see if the same story is true with these blocks as was with those ones, because obviously they fail off pretty easily. And the last thing I would want is to let her go and those blocks fall off. Yep. There you have it. It wouldn't have been long until those blocks fell off as well. So we'll go ahead, trim this up and see if she still needs her blocks. You know when I was talking about the horn beginning to shed? And that's why the blocks sometimes start to fall off? There you go. That is exactly what I was talking about. We call this white powdery substance the pith of the foot, and it's where naturally the horn would fall away from the rest of the sole of the hoof in the wild. So it's a fantastic guide as to how much horn you can remove safely. Now that I'm looking at this more closely, I can see this is still open, so she will need blocks applied to this foot. I really don't want to remove any height from this inner claw, but what I do need to do is make sure the glue has a solid foundation to bond onto and remove the majority of that pith, because with it in place, the glue will definitely not adhere fully to the hoof horn and the block will end up falling off. So while Craig gets the blocks ready, I'll trim out this ulcer. See, I can see this blackish greyish horn here, which lets me know this is underrun, so there's a cavity under there. When this cow made her debut on the channel, she had 2 severe ulcers, and the layman amongst us may think that that is down to poor management, but I can assure you it is not. Cows are herding animals, and as such, they do everything they possibly can to hide lameness, which in turn would prevent them from becoming prey. Which is why problems like this, particularly when they're on both feet, are so well hidden by the cow. I'll be honest, I'd love to give you a complicated reason as to why we're using 2 orange blocks on this one and not a green and an orange. But the fact is, we've run out of green ones today. Someone never filled the crush up properly. Can't get the staff these days. Applications in the comments! So let's just finish removing that loose horn. Transformation from what it was before. Now if we hadn't brought this cow back in, her blocks would have been off within a couple of days. For a month or so, she'd be back to square one and looking like this. Whereas now, she will make a full recovery. Anyway, let's get out the crush and see how she's walking now. Whoa, slow down. People wonder why I'm so happy at my job. It's awesome being able to do things like that, or have the opportunity to help them in that way, and earn money for my family. Hope you guys are as lucky as I am, although I'm kind of struggling with this chain. Tackling lameness is a situation that is only successful when the farmers, farm workers and hoof trimmers all play their separate roles, and in this case we are definitely on the winning team.